Yo, what's good, family and friends? So right now, what I'm actually doing is I'm actually trying to screen record my Zoom, right, my screen, because I actually did a video for you guys last night, and unfortunately, it wouldn't upload to my YouTube for some reason. I think it was because it was Google Chrome. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna go ahead and simply screen record this, and in this video, I'm actually gonna be talking about, you know, the market structure from going to bullish market to bearish market. This trade is really crucial, especially if you're new in the game. If you're new in trading, I highly recommend taking notes, because this right here is something that I wish I had known, or something that someone had showed me in this most simplistic way, right? But with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. You guys, I hope you guys are taking notes. Like I said, go ahead and enjoy the actual video. Shabam. Yo, what's good, family and friends? Hey, man, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself real quick so we're not strangers here. My name is Ray. My goal today is to honestly give you guys an insight on how market truly moves, right? I'm the type of person that likes to give value to people, right? And today I'm actually gonna be talking about how to identify if you're in a bullish market or bearish market. What that simply means, if you're a new trader, right? If you're in an uptrend or downtrend, okay? So give me 1 second, fam. I do apologize for the look. I actually just got back from the gym. But so like I said, right, today I'm actually going to be talking about how to easily identify if we're in a bullish or bearish market, and also, how to easily figure out, right, if you're about to turn around, change the direction, right? One thing that I do every time I take trades, family, right? And real quick, actually, let me backtrace real quick. I want you to understand that everything that I'm about to teach you guys is something that I have learned from I Am Master Academy, right? I'm a student here. I've been a student for 11 months now, and I truly want you to understand this, that I didn't know anything about trading before. Right? I didn't know anything about trading prior to this, and I can honestly say that I Am Master Academy truly helped me to become an amazing trader. Right, I'm now profitable in trading. I can take my own trades, right? Yes, I also leverage from the system that we have in here, but I'm at the point where like I can, trade on my own, right, independently. But my goal today is to give you guys value, and something that I wish I had, in a way where someone can just break it down in the most simplistic form, right? But with that being said, man, I'm going to actually go ahead and check out Jura 30. Right. So one thing that I always do, family, is that I always check from the top, from the biggest time frame to the smallest time frame. Right. So always do a top down analysis. Right. So first thing first, let's go ahead and check out weekly, so that we can see what type of market we're looking at. Right. So looking at this right now on a weekly, we all can agree that Jura 30 or GER 30, doesn't matter how you say it, is all the same thing to me, right? You guys can see that the market has been going up for quite some time now, since 2011, actually since the market, 2011, right? And you guys can see that we had a massive drop over here, and understand, family, right? Understand that the market is always moving 3 different ways, either going up, going down, and sideways. Okay, so you guys can see right now, trend line for the weekly is going up, right? One thing that they always say, one thing that you'll find out as a trader is that, they always say trend is your friend, right? Because, you always want to go with the flow of the market. For example, right? If you was on a river, right, would it be easier to swim along with the flow of the river, or would it be easier to swim against the flow of the river? Right? It's the same thing here in the market, right? You always want to trade with the flow of the market. Where's the market heading at, right? So looking at this, right, we have the weekly here, and it's going up. Well, understand, and within this weekly time frame that we have, right, a daily where it could potentially be going up and down, right? And as you guys can see, right now, we all agree that the market for the weekly is going up, and over here, we can see that the market for the daily, right, we can see that, it recently hit a low, right? It went down, and then started going up, and, started doing its own thing, right? Impulse, retracement, uptrend, correction. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's all the same thing, right? So you guys can see. So the biggest thing that you always want to ask yourself is, where are we at in the market? Because when it comes to trading, right, the number one thing that truly get people is that the lack of awareness of where the market is currently sitting at, right? Are we on the impulse side of the house, or are we in the retracement side of the house, right? So understand, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and quickly draw you, give you guys an example, right, of how the market is moving. So if the market is moving weekly for an uptrend like this, right, understand that within this impulse, right, within the impulse itself, we actually have a daily doing this, right? Higher high, higher low, impulse, retracement, uptrend, correction. It's all the same thing, like I said, right? But the biggest thing that, you guys want to truly take away from this is that anytime, right, we're in an uptrend, it's always creating a higher high, right? It's always creating a higher high. So that is the key to identify if the market is going up. So you guys see how this was the previous low right here? And then what happened was it created a higher high, right? And then when it went down for retracement, the retracement should not be lower than the previous low, right? And then of course, when the market does impulse, right, it should be above the previous high. That's how you know that we are on a bullish market, okay? And look, same thing here, right? So this right here gave me an insight, right? Pretty much how the market should be moving if we are on a bullish market. Now, let's go ahead and actually check out if the market is actually going down, right? So just like this, right? If the market is going down, as so, understand that the market, right? If this is weekly right here, right? If this is weekly, understand that within this weekly, we also have daily where it's actually, doing its thing where it does a downtrend, retracement, right? Impulse, correction, right? Lower low, lower high. It's all the same thing, right? Whatever you prefer calling this, understand that you should always be trading with the flow, right? So, if the market is going down, of course, I would only be taking sell trades, right? Just because, right, I want to go with the flow, right? Just like on the buy side of the house, right? On the buy side of the house, when the market is going up, you want to get in for buys. Over here, you want to get in for sells, right? And just like this, just like how I explained on the other side, on a bullish market over here, right? Understand that anytime we had a lower high, the lower low should be lower, right? Should be lower. And then of course on the retracement side, right? The push back up, it should not be higher than the previous lower high, right? So, and then when it create a newer low, right? When it create a lower low, it should be lower than this one, the previous one, right? So just like this, right? Retracement, impulse, lower than the previous one, right? Push up, push down, again, same pattern, right? And you guys can see that this right here is a perfect example that the market is going down. Well, now let's go ahead and actually check out, the sideways side of the house. See, sideways, when the market is consolidating, it's a little bit confusing in a sense, but it's actually really simple, like, right? Don't get it twisted. Don't get confused. Don't make it complicated. Understand that when the market is moving sideways, what it's doing is that it's actually trying to create liquidity, right? And understand whenever you're in a consolidation phase, right? Not only is creating liquidity, but it's also creating, right, confusion. It's creating opinion, right? And it makes the banks happy because then there's a lot of buyers and sellers getting in. And guess what? The banks, right? The institutional, the people with big money, they come in here and they fish, right? So you don't want to be the guy to get caught in this, right? But, we are going to talk about this just so we can identify, what it is. But over here, if the market is going sideways, right, understand that majority of the time, it has a specific area where it want to trade, right? Majority of the time, it look like a box, to be honest with you guys. And it's just bouncing off, back and forth. So sometimes it can look like this, so on, right? Bam. And sometimes it'll go lower, right? So understand that it will do this purposely to confuse people, right? Make people happy for a second until you get a breakout, right? To the upside or to the downside. It doesn't matter, right? But understand over here, right? It's complicated to figure out, if you're, if you're going up or down. But one thing that I can tell for sure when it comes to this is that majority of the time, the structure is very inconsistent. You can see how, you never really know, like over here, it's trying to create a higher high, but then it failed because one, this is lower, right? And then it's trying to create a lower low right here. But then, this right here pushed up was good, but then it failed to create a lower low, on this side. So majority of the time it's confusing people. Like I said, right, it creates opinion until, both sides of the house get eaten by the market, right? Understand, like I said, like I mentioned before in my previous videos, right? The market is simply just a tool, right, to transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. So, the question to you is, which one are you? Are you the patient trader or are you the impatient trader, right? Because, if you're looking at your account right now, if you're losing, then you might be on the other side. If you're winning, then, you might be doing something good, right? You might be doing something something disciplined. You probably have a system, or you just know how the market moves, which is amazing, which is pretty dope. Now, let's go ahead and backtest all of this, all this stuff that I just talked about, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this right here, right? So right now we're still on the daily, right? And as you guys can see, right, on the daily right now, right here, right, on the daily, let me go ahead and just zoom in real quick so we can see what's going on. On the daily, I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this because we all agree that the market right now is in a bullish market for the weekly, but on a daily, it is as well. You guys can see that, right? But within this daily, right, if you go down on the lower time frame, I mean, you guys can already see what was happening, but on the lower time frame, you guys can see more of what's truly happening in this market, right? What I like to do is I do like to draw like a parallel channel, but what I'm gonna just simply do is I'm just gonna move this higher so you guys can see, right, where the market is being respected to. So if you guys were looking at this right now, right, I'm just gonna quickly draw, what I see. So you guys can see that this was the lower low, right, or the higher low, and then it went up, and then it went down, right? It went up, it went down. You guys see how, anytime it created a higher high, of course, it's higher than the previous one, and then the higher low should not be lower than the previous, the previous ones, right? So like this right here, boom, boom. And sometimes it will actually do this right here where it does go lower than the last two, right? But, don't get it twisted, because sometimes that just simply means that the bank is getting in, right? It's simply getting in for, grabbing liquidity from the previous low right here, right? But understand that, yes, we broke structure 1, 2, well, we broke structure 1, 2, right? And then of course, right, we tried to get 3, but we couldn't. And then it started to push back up, right? So understand that, sometimes it'll do this, but the overall movement for the 4 hours is still going up, right? The overall movement for the daily is still going up, right? And I'm actually gonna explain to you guys how to identify this right here, this part right here, because I feel like this part right here will actually give you an insight if the market is about to turn around, right? If the market's about to turn around from a bullish move to to either a retracement or a change of direction, right? So I'm going to delete that real quick. So I hope this is making sense, right? You guys all can see right now that, anytime it went for a higher high, it was definitely higher than the previous one, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then we all, we created a high, even high right here, right? And then isn't it ironic how when it started to create an even high, that's when it started to like try to change direction and, broke structure, right? So looking at this, right, understand whenever you see a even high, majority of the time, that is a hint that, it might try to do a change of direction, or, right, it might retrace, right? And I'm talking about like bigger retracement, right? Not just the regular retracement, I'm talking about a bigger side, so you guys can see what happened here. So first thing first, right, to identify if the market is about to change, like to turn around from a bullish market to a bearish market, right? You guys can see, right, anytime you guys say even high, anytime you guys see an even high, I'm just gonna go ahead and mark this up real quick, right? I know it's not a perfect even high, but one thing that I always do is I always keep an eye on it to see what's going on, right? You guys can see that, this right here. So I'm gonna put an eye on it just to keep, just to like let myself know I'm keeping an eye on this specific side of the house, right? And then now from here, what you truly want to do is that you want to start looking at it in a way where, okay, is it going to create a higher high, right? And you guys can see this right here with me right now. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this right here, right? That when it started to go down, of course it did its own retracement, but then when it tried to create a higher high, it failed to do so. So this right here is my second confirmation, right? From this even high to the it trying to break, and actually it failing to create a higher high is a sign that it might change for direction, right? And then as you guys can see, the market went down lower than the previous low. So now this right here gives me like the third confirmation that, hey, we might change direction. A lot of times, a lot of people will take this trade as is. Me personally, I don't like to say, hey, it is a change of direction, unless I have full confirmation. So this is one, right? This is one right here. This is two. This is three. The last one would be this right here, right? You see how when it created a lower low, right? What happened was it created a lower high, right? The fact that this high is lower than the previous high, this tells me that we might start going down. And as you guys can see, right, the market surely did started to go down, right? Surely did started to go down. And this right here, I feel like it's really powerful, because if you guys can just identify this part of the house, right? I'm just gonna quickly mark that up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because look, from here to there, right, you guys can see that the market started to change direction. So from this even high, that will be your first confirmation, right? Your second confirmation would be the fact that it failed to create a higher high. And then the third confirmation would be it created a lower low from the previous side, right? And then what happened was it created a lower high. So this right tells me that it's a change of direction. And what I would do personally is, of course, I would measure out my fizz, right? But that's a different topic. But what I would simply do is I would pull up my fizz from this previous lower high to the downside, and then mark up my area of liquidity, or 618s, whatever zone that you use. Me typically, I like to use my 786 and 886, and as you guys can see, it went up to that level, and then it started to tank, right? But I know I only have 4 minutes left for this one. So I guess I'm only gonna do a training on how to identify if the market is gonna go from a bullish market to go to bullish market to bearish market, right? But looking at this, I hope that this is making sense, because man, this part right here, if you just know this part right here, you can easily catch and be more aware of where the market is at. So you would never get caught, right? You would never get caught when the market is going up, and and the market's going up, and you try to keep getting buy, right? Because a lot of times people get caught on the sell side of the house, or retracement side of the house. Well, this right here will give you the power and insight, right? The knowledge to know that, hey, we might be at the end of the impulse side of the house, and we might start to see a retracement or a change of direction. But with that being said, man, that's all I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up, right? Hit up my IG, hit up my YouTube channel. I mean, I can't drop my stuff in here in the board, because I just find out that I'm not supposed to. So I hope you guys are able to find my stuff. But my name is up here. So peace out, family. Yo, that is it, family. I hope you guys got some value out of that. Definitely, drop some comments, drop some stuff that you actually like the most about it, and things that I can improve on my end. Because like I said, right, I'm also new in this game. I am a student in iMaster Academy. I've only been here for 11 months now. And I can't wait where, the next 2 years it's going to take me, because I can already tell you guys, with the knowledge that I have gained, I'm at the point where I'm going to start applying the law of liberty, which is amazing. But with that being said, man, much love. Peace out.